Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've been playing a ton of Genshin Impact. What is it? Genshin is a gacha game for PC, PlayStation 4, and for mobile. Without getting heavily into what gacha means, it's basically just a free game with a pay-to-win model. But everything your rich neighbor can buy, you can also attain through hard work and dedication. And so, I present unto you 10 tips and tricks for Genshin Impact. Tip number 1. How to build a team. Combat is a huge element of this game, and how you go about it is up to you, but when it comes to building a team, there's a few things you want to keep in mind. Your basic team will consist of 4 characters, a DPS, a healer, a support, and then the last person on your team is for the elemental resonance. Basically, they're going to be the drummer of your group. You can't have a band without him, but he's mostly just there to hang out. This character should be a duplicate of an element you already have on your team, because if you have 2 characters with the same element, your whole team gets a buff. For example, if you have 2 fire dudes, your whole party gets a plus 25% attack bonus. The game gives you a few characters to work with, but I would hold off on making a team because after all these tutorial missions, you get to make a wish. Welcome to RNG hell. Tip number 2, wishes. Alright, playtime's over. It's time for pain. Here is everything I know about how the wishes work. There's 2 types of fates. One for the event wishes, and the other one for standard wishes. Using fates, you roll for both characters and weapons. All characters so far are 4 or 5 stars. Weapons, however, can be found in 3, 4, and 5 stars, meaning most of the time your roll will net you a bunch of crappy 3-star weapons. However, 1 in every 10 wishes is guaranteed to give you a 4-star or higher, and in addition, 1 in every 90 rolls is guaranteed to give you a 5-star. Now, there are a few banners that will display rate up. This means that those items or characters are semi-guaranteed. For example, let's say 5-star Klee here has a rate up. That means if you open up a 5-star that isn't Klee, the next 5-star you get is guaranteed to be Klee. If there's multiple rate up of the same rarity, that just means it's going to be one of them, such as the case for 4 stars. The banners for all these characters will change over time, but your pity timer won't. So let's say you spend 89 fates on a single event banner and then it changes to a new event banner. The next wish performed is guaranteed to be a 5-star. The same is true for the standard wish banner, although each banner has their own separate pity timer. New players will have access to a discount banner guaranteed to give you a character in the first 10 rolls. I suggest rolling that twice before building your team, that way you most likely have a larger cast to pick from. How do you pay for the wishes? Tip number 3, currency. After playing for a while, you should start seeing items called Fates and the premium currency called Prima Gems. And if you pay to play, Genesis Crystals. You're grown, play responsibly. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, Reg, that's too many currencies. They're all the same. Genesis Crystals only buy Prima Gems, and Prima Gems only buy Fates, and Fates are used for wishing. When you make wishes, you'll also receive both Star Glitter and Stardust when you pull 4 and 5 stars from wishes. There's a lot of items you can purchase with both of these, but with the Stardust, only purchase the discount Fates. Everything else can be easily obtained through combat. Star Glitter, on the other hand, should only be spent on characters priced around 34, whereas you would need 50 to purchase the Fates needed to guarantee the same thing. Characters are just better value. Tip number 4, progression. Most of the progression in this game is tied to your adventure rank. As your adventure rank goes up, so does the difficulty and the rewards for doing things. Raising your adventure rank is what allows you to ascend your characters and their talents, as well as your weapons, allowing you to make them more powerful. Getting your adventure rank up to 20 isn't that bad, but each level above that starts to become a bit of a grind. So, let me briefly go over everything that helps you raise your adventure rank. First and foremost, quests. Whether it be the main quest, side stories, world quests, or daily commissions, completing these will increase your adventure rank by a substantial amount, so you should always pick up every quest you see, even if you don't do it immediately. In addition, opening chests by any means, whether it's through killing enemies, solving puzzles, or following Sealies to their garden, yes, they're called Sealies, that will net you some adventure XP as well. Spending original resin for rewards gives you XP, and we'll touch on what resin is in a bit. Lastly, you can get a ton of experience by activating the statues and teleporters scattered throughout your map. While you're exploring, you'll find Animunculus and Geoculus, I hope I pronounced those right. You can use those to upgrade the statues for even more adventure experience. I almost forgot to add, When you complete those 4 daily commission quests, you can talk to Catherine at the Adventurers Guild and collect a reward that also grants even more experience. Tip number 5, Co-op. When you hit Adventure Rank 16, you'll unlock the Co-op feature. Through this, you can play with your friends or complete strangers, but there are some pros and cons to the feature, so I'm going to go over each. On the plus side, obviously you get to play with your friends. Combat gets a lot more interesting when there are multiple heroes on the screen at the same time. Creating strategies and executing them perfectly feels so rewarding. All the drops in the world can be shared by the entire party, so things like mob drops, all types of ore, and items from breaking boxes can all be picked up by everyone. While I recommend staying in a group, you don't have to. One person can be fighting a boss on one side of the map, while another person goes hunt crabs on the exact opposite. That concept was something I was truly impressed by, given that this game is also crossplay between 3 different types of devices. There's also a few puzzles that are easier to solve with more people and a few achievements for beating certain bosses in domains and co-op, which is something I appreciate. However, there's a good few places where I believe co-op falls short. For the party leader, you can't talk to NPCs, meaning quests are off the table, and if you're not the party leader, you can't talk to NPCs, you can't open chests, and even if the chest does get opened, you don't get anything from it. Pretty much the only thing you're allowed to do is fight, which can get pretty boring when you don't have a goal in mind. You aren't able to share all world items. Non-shareable items are ones that don't drop, such as fruit growing on trees, plants, and small animals, such as crabs and frogs. So if it means a random dude enters your lobby, they can take a bunch of items from your world, and the only thing you can do is wait a few days for them to respawn. Lastly, the domains are boring. Well, they're the same in single player as they are in multiplayer, but it still leaves a lot to be desired, which brings me to 2 ideas that I hope are eventually added. First off, multiplayer dungeons, with portal-style puzzles requiring a certain amount of people in order to complete. And co-op quests. But for now, in my opinion, co-op still seems kind of empty, but with a great foundation. Tip number 6, explore the entire map. This game has a beautiful map, and while I'd suggest exploring all of it just to see what it has to offer, I think it's more important to explore the entire map just to unlock all the teleporters and the statues. This can allow you to fast travel across the map in the blink of an eye. After finishing the Mondstadt storyline, I would suggest dedicating one whole sitting into finding every single statue and teleporter, making everything in the future easier. Once you're familiar with the map, I would also get familiar with the Genshin Impact online interactive map. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. This baby will tell you everything you need to know about where to find everything. Looking for what iron? Boom, Mount Azang. It's simple, it's going to save you a lot of time. Number 7, resource management. One of the more punishing aspects of the game is its scarcity of resources. Most of them are plentiful and can be gathered easily, like food ingredients or ore. But when it comes to monster drops, they'll seem plentiful at first, but after alchemy gets involved, you'll start to see how scarce they can get. So it's important to not be wasteful. When you have your team set up, you'll want to basically pick 3 of them and max them out. You can build them however you want, but I would suggest going to Genshin.gg to look at some reliable builds for each character, so now you know how to ration what you've got. You can level up the characters, their weapons, their talents, and their artifacts. I wouldn't upgrade artifacts at all until you're already gotten to the point where you're getting 4 stars, with the exception being those needed to complete the Adventure Handbook. Aside from that, the only thing you need to worry about is your original resin. This is the energy of the game, and you're only given roughly 200 every 24 hours or so you want to spend it wisely. It's used to collect resources for beating bosses and completing domains, plus if there's any events that utilize it. Those rewards will allow you to level up your talents and ascend your character. If you're looking for any material in particular, you can consult the handbook, which reminds me. Number 8, the Adventure Handbook is your god. The handbook is going to be your guide as to what you should be working on, as well as how you should achieve it. It tells you what all the domains are offering every day, it tells you where all the monsters are located on the map, plus displaying each of your daily quests. I don't care what god you believe in, or how much power you've amassed, you do not disobey the handbook. Tip number 9, join the Discord. The developers have a community Discord for all languages, and it consists of thousands of people playing the game. If you ever have something you want to share, or you're stuck on anything, there's plenty of people who are always able to help. And speaking of people, that leads me to my final tip. Tip number 10. Make some friends. Ha! You thought I pulled that twice in a row. Welcome to the tips lightning round. If you're falling, attack before you hit the ground. You take no fall damage. Venti can skip up mountains. Tall people don't have to swim as much. Kaya doesn't have to swim at all. Venti can kill all the birds at the bridge. Fuck you, Timmy. In a fight you don't want to be in, teleport away. Falling when you don't want to fall, teleport away. Got the waifu your friends want? Flaunt it, baby. Floating sea in the sky? It's part of the skybox. You can't go there yet. Stop trying. Adeptus Temptation's the best food in the game. Eat it. Paimon is emergency food. Eat her. If you roll a duplicate character, you get a Skyrim perk. I'm not joking. Open every chest you see. Your adventure rank will thank you. Looking for an offensive artifact set? It's always Gladiator's Finale. Looking for an artifact set for healers? It's always Maiden's Beloved. You can trash weapons in exchange for enhancement ore. Never do this. You can trash artifacts in exchange for Mora. Never do this. Diluc has the highest damage output in the game, but you need to max his Constellation, so basically he doesn't. Yes, he is still daddy. Amber sucks at combat. She's unrivaled when it comes to puzzle solving. Crystal ore is at Stormterror's lair. White iron ore is at Mount Ozang. Enjoy your 4-star weapons. Processing ingredients is a second tab under cooking. Lisa needs to step on me. The developers plan on updating the game every 5 weeks. If you stay on this branch, nothing happens. Paimon says fuck. You can't change my mind. And subscribe.